maybe let's say 3 to 6 days a week. That could be, or 4 to 6 days, either or. I'm not a big fan of 7 days a week or 1 day a week, for example. You need a break, I think, 1 day. Now here's another thing. Like there could be an exception. For example, for working out, I know some people do 7 days a week because they know they're gonna be skipping working out.
Yeah.
Something will happen, so it's okay to do 7 days. And as far as skipping, skipping. My rule is skipping practice. My rule of skipping practice is no more than 1 day in a row. So if something I can't do, maybe I got busy or emergency or I got sick or whatever, I make sure I don't skip it 2 days in a row.
Okay.
So that's my rule, right? Yeah, it's okay to give yourself some leeway. Sometimes you like something is going on, emergency, you're sick, whatever. It's okay, skip. But I'll try. Sometimes I skip the gym, right? Now for people like me who want to play guitar all the time, 7 days a week, I would recommend. That's the other way around, right? Gym, I can skip gym days. But like guitar, or work on music, it's something I do every day. I don't skip, so I force myself actually to take 1 day off. Whereas like that's the day I'm not gonna touch the guitar. I'm not gonna.
But you could do you still work on could you do piano instead or something? Like, do you still do music stuff, or are you saying like 1 day where you're just
1 day. I have 1 day where I do whatever I want. So that's my rule, or a day off. Because look, here's the thing: practicing guitar and being a musician. Hate to break it with you, like half of the time it's gonna be like email and exercises and stuff. Really, this stuff. Sure, I mean we look at people who play guitar really good, or somebody who has big muscles, right? But you go through these grinds, right?
Yeah, that's really
So,
true.
so you wanna take a day off, if you're like somebody. I mean, up to you. Some people. I mean, I got away with not taking a day off for years. I mean, I think like till recently, the last couple of years, I believed in days off. But you should take a day off because that'll lead to burnout eventually.
Yep.
So Ondine,
I
right?
know.
No more than skipping practice or anything really. I would say. Uh, 3 to 6 days. Most important is consistent. It's consistency is important, right? Just be consistent at it, right? Time, it's up to you. You want to practice 3 days, 6 days a week, up to you. How much time? Something you're comfortable with, like time, set time you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I've been having some success instead of doing like an hour, like splitting the day up. So I'm doing it like every hour I'll do it for like 5-10 minutes, and then the next hour like come back to it. Um, rather than trying to do it all at once, like in the morning or something.
Yeah, both works. You can set a time where you do it and be done with it. That's what I do with my workout. If you want to be done with it, because I know it
Yeah.
takes me. And also, but try to enjoy it. Of course, try to enjoy your practice. Don't feel like it's chore. Make it fun. Okay. Maybe the environment you're sitting in. Gotta enjoy it. Do exercises you're enjoying. So yeah, you can split your time. You can do it in one, whatever it helps. A set time you're comfortable with doesn't matter. Some people are comfortable 12 hours a day. Some people are too much for them. I can't do 12 hours a day or 8 hours a day. we have all responsibilities and other things. Even a professional musician, he doesn't play all day. I hate to break
Yeah.
it to you, but there's emails and the business side. So up to you. Set time you're comfortable with. So example, let's say 1 hour a day, right? Doesn't matter how much you put, as long as it's consistent. Put something you're comfortable with. 1 hour uh, a day, or like 8 hours a day. It doesn't matter. Put a place like you're comfortable with. Don't stress about it. Be like, I gotta do 4 hours, but I don't have enough time in the day. Maybe you start with like whatever. Maybe you start with like 30 minutes a day and see if you can handle that. There's no right or wrong. Just the more you put into it, the more you'll get faster results. Of course, keep that in mind. And there's a limit, and I think I read that somewhere. After 4 hours, your productivity drops. So the most efficient time, so somebody who does 8 hours a day, not necessarily is gonna get the double the benefit of someone who does 4 hours. It start declining after a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Enjoy practice. That's very important. Now as far as practicing, I would do, keep it fun, right? So third of the time, do the exercises, right? And techniques, the technical stuff, right? I would say third of the time, do the technical stuff, and maybe 2/3 of the time, noodle, right? Whatever, do whatever. You play a song you enjoy, like do what you love to do on the guitar. Have fun on guitar, right? Noodle, have fun. Maybe you're recording, maybe you're trying new pedal or something, you know.
Like Daniel's cat paddle.
Yeah, exactly, right? If Dan was here, like having like a cat pedal as well. So yeah, all these things, 2/3 noodle, have fun on the guitar. Just let me make sure nobody joined or asking to join. Participants here, yeah. All right. Have fun on guitar, 2/3 needle. So keep it fun. You know, you don't want to be 100% technical stuff and be like a robot, and you don't want to be noodling and having fun all the time, because you're gonna be stuck in a rut, repeating the same thing, which lots of people have a problem with, right? But you don't want to be like these guys that can like play really fast and it sounds the same, right?
Um, Actually, I do have a question, and this is
Mm-hmm.
something I get stuck on myself. So, you're doing your technical stuff, you're doing your noodling, but I think it is important to absorb what other people are doing, right? Like different, like new music, or watching people play guitar and kind of, or going to performances. Is there kind of a way to? But I know, like, a bad habit of mine is sometimes I'll get lost down a YouTube rabbit hole or something. So, and when it's like, okay, you got to stop and work on your own stuff, right? Is there kind of a way to manage that, or?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like it's important to get inspiration and see others and get ideas from other, but we're talking about doing. Okay,
Right.
you want to do it too. There's watching it and be, oh, that's a cool idea, but you want to sit down and do it, right? And YouTube is good as a supplement. It's a rabbit hole and it's random. There's no organization.
Yeah.
It's good for a specific topic. Like, hey, you're doing things in the course and you're doing, let's say, bending, right? It covers most of the bending. You can go on like details about bending on
Oh,
YouTube. Although you're probably gonna see the same stuff, but that's okay if it's for certain topics.
I didn't mean like that. I didn't mean like
But
that. I meant more
mm,
like let's say you're I don't know, you really like Prince or something. So you go on YouTube and you're watching a bunch of his stuff, right? So like you're it's sort of like your brain is not doing the thing it should be doing. Instead, it's getting distracted in a way.
it's good if you watch Prince and you hear and you see his technique and you get inspired. or whatever the artist is, and you observe what he's doing and new things, new sounds that you want to replicate. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I mean that's fine. But as long as you dedicate the time. So hey, Prince inspired me. I saw this YouTube video of him, like, whatever, playing the minor pentatonic scale in a way that's never been done before. I like his guitar tone. Yeah, and that's okay. Just don't be like, I'm gonna watch YouTube all day. Somebody said this, like, theory should be like 10% and 90% doing. So, I don't know if that would be a good guideline. Maybe 10% of the time do that stuff, and the rest actually be doing it practice, right?
Yeah, I think that's helpful because I definitely get trapped in the rabbit hole of theory myself because I like to think. Like for me,
Mm.
thinking is fun to do, right? So I have to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. Theory as watch out. It's good to know theory, like, or the theoretical stuff. Just, I would say, 10%. Else you'll end up be like these people that go to the library, right, all the time, and they read books and all the books, but
What's wrong with going to the library and reading books?
nothing wrong with that. But you look at their life, and they're not going anywhere, and most of them.
Those poor librarians.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful, right? There's a difference between reading 100 books on rocket science and be able to flying a rocket,
No, you're right. I
doing a
agree.
rocket
I
engine.
do.
So you don't want to be one of these people that are technical. They have all this knowledge. Knowledge is a tool. Knowledge is great. The most important asset. But there's a balance. Some people don't get knowledge and they stay where they are on the guitar or in life. We don't want to be that. And other people just keep doing knowledge, but I don't know. They don't do anything with it. Maybe they're afraid or they're not getting out of their comfort zone, whatever that is. So you gotta always have like that balance. Like,
Yeah, that makes sense. The balance
you know,
between doing and knowing.
yeah. Else, you become a preacher who doesn't practice what he preaches, right? So practice what you preach, basically.
Mm.
Going on YouTube and all that stuff is preaching, but you gotta practice it. You know, you sing Prince playing preaching, right? But you want to practice that preaching. In a way, that's how I would put it. So yeah, that's as far as practice schedule.
Oh, what about the third of the time?
That's a third and two-third is how
Oh,
much?
okay. I
If
think you
you do
meant
your math.
okay.
Third and two-third. I think that's a good balance. I mean, of course, you can tweak it, but at least third of the time the technical stuff. That's basically the stuff that's in the course.
Yeah.
It is a technical stuff like you want to spend on. Okay, yeah, the technical stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it as far as prep. Consistency is important. I would say the most important thing. I'm gonna underline that, right? Consistency is important.
How do you
You know,
I don't know if this is like this could also be nerdy graph stuff too. But how do you measure your progress, right? So you're doing your goals, you're doing your to-do lists. Like do you ever spend time saying like, okay, what did I do over the past 3 months? Do you ever kind of
yeah. How do you measure your progress? Good
yeah, how do you
question.
measure it? Yeah.
Back to the goals. What were your goals to blues, compose, and release? Did you finish the blues? Like, or maybe not necessarily finish, if it's something that can take a few months. You were in track 32 and after months you're track 33. Is that happy with that progress? Did you finish the recording the song September 21st? September 21st, is there what happened? Were you able to meet the deadline? If not, why? What Learn from that experience, what happened? Did you release a song September 10th? So that's why it's important when you write your goals down
Mm-hmm.
and your to-do list, you'll be able to measure
Yeah, I think that I'm missing. So I think I want to start doing that because I think I stall on things, but I don't necessarily realize it because I don't know what I was doing 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's important to write, and that's what I'm saying. We all think we have this great. Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do, but
Yeah.
your mind has like what, like 100,000 or 10,000, whatever thoughts a day. You can't. You think you keep track, but you don't. Your mind is working on autopilot, like
Yeah.
mostly garbage.
Yeah. It's funny, and I think I don't know if you felt this way, but I think COVID also, like when we had those couple years where
Hmm.
they almost disappeared. Um, so I think this will be really helpful because I really don't know what I was working on 3 months ago with guitar.
I mean, even if COVID happens, really, COVID didn't matter to me personally. Why? Because my goal is similar to yours. I gotta do blues, compose, and release. COVID never actually got in my way
That's awesome.
as far as getting goals. So you can find a way, and you can do Zoom instead of in person. You can always improve. You can be in a community, right? Um, so that's as far as the goals. Also, look, there's certain things like how could you track your BPM, right? Last month you were playing at 100 BPM. This month you're like 140, for example. That's what these are little things you can track off.
Oh, it's great.
And one thing is important. Like lots of people are like, oh, like I can only play 140. I can't go like there's another person in the community is playing 160, and I'm at like 140. Um, always look up like where were you like a month ago? Look, because like your brain is like designed to find the negative things for survival. That's why it's important to write your goals where you were, because always think about, hey, where was I a month ago? Like where was I like a month ago before joining the program, for example, and look where I am right now. What do I know? Because that also will help with the motivation as well.
Well, that I agree because I was just, if you're sort of just floating around, but it's like, well, last month I was doing the song at 60 BPM and now I'm doing it at 120. That's a big improvement.
Hmm.
And actually, you taught me about better use of the metronome because I've always used metronome in a way, but not in the right way because really it's not just measuring how fast you're going, but it's measuring how well you're able to put the pieces of the song together and play them consistently.
Hmm.
So if you don't do that, maybe this middle section you're playing at 60 BPM and the beginning and end you're playing at 120, right? But when you have the metronome, it forces you to be like, oh, consistently keeping the
Hmm.
tempo correctly.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct. Metro. We'll talk more like about metronome and like these things. Also, it helps with the practice schedule. I think where is that in the? I should put that in the course. I know that's in the other course. So, for example, you can come up with. I'm a big fan of Excel sheets.
Me
So
too. So
so you can do, for example, where is that? Practice scale. Yeah, I have, for example, here's like a little scale practice schedule tracking sheet. Just an example. You know, notice you can set your own schedule. Your schedule could be weekly or bi-weekly, or could be daily, maybe. Like if you have like all the time during the day. But you can get organized. You can have something like that's similar to this, right? Uh, Let me go over like the bi-weekly thing, right? Let's say you don't have much time to practice during the day, and everything you gotta do it every 2 weeks to finish the cycle. Um, and because the most important thing is consistency. For example, let's say you know a bunch of scale. You've been in the course for like some time, and you're learning a lot. You can put like your own schedule. Monday, I'm just gonna practice pentatonic and blues. Tuesday, harmonic minor. Thursday, three notes per string. Friday, I can put that in the course too, as an example. And here, like you write the scales that, for example, that you know. with time, this list will be a little bit bigger, right? Most guitarists need to know a handful of scales. That's it. No, you don't need to do like all the thousands of scales.
Yeah,
But
I
see
think
how that schedule, you spread your practice over 2 weeks. So, and it's consistent. Every 2 weeks, you cycle back again and improve whatever it is. Maybe you work on your speed on Monday, and Tuesday you work on your composing, and like Wednesday you take it off. Yeah, you had a question.
no, no.
Yeah, this is like an example. It helps you keep track when you write things down. Like, oh, you wake up Tuesday. Oh, what are I supposed to do today? And you can change this. With time you remove it. I probably don't have to practice the pentatonic unless it's for speed, right? Anymore. I ingrain it, right? That gets off the list because I'll never forget certain things. I've been doing it. I did it like 1,000 times. So
Probably more, right?
after you do it 1,000 times, you're fine. Um, you know. I mean, really, I think I, I think I think you'll be a good. They say somebody said that if you do 10K hours, you will be a good pro guitar player. Right, 10K hours total, good pro guitar. And somebody said after 30,000 hours, you'll be a virtuoso. See if I can type that. Virtuoso. I mean, these are things that people say, but that's the accumulation of hours, and that's why I'm saying it doesn't matter how much time you spend a day. Really, it's about the consistency to accumulate these things. You know, doesn't matter. Your goal is to get to 10K hours total. One thing for sure, if you keep consistent, you'll get to it.
Yeah,
Well,
that
if you do 1,000 hours and kill yourself in like little time and then you stop, you're never gonna get to it. Like, yeah, you know, you're gonna get there. The goal is to get there. It doesn't matter, whether you get there by doing an hour a day or like 100 hours a day. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Okay, but the point of the course is to maximize these 10K. Like, actually, the number could be less because you know what to do exactly. You're not wasting time on YouTube, for example. You're not wasting time playing the same thing over and over all the time. You're not wasting time playing things wrong. All these will, you're practicing the right things and removing the things that don't work. So you free your time too. And that's really important to be, to get resources, work for mentors, uh, because it's about saving yourself time, really, when you do that. I think that's very, very important. Speeding things up can be done by learning to do things the right way and removing the things that doesn't work. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get results fast, this is very important as well. Yeah, so that's it as far as the practice schedule. All right, I'll just leave it open to questions, if any, before we end the call.
Yeah, we already are at the end.
Yeah, but if there's any questions, I can go over them.
No, this is great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.